come the end of December in 2023, I will make another video that looks just like this one. Welcome to the end of 2023. Still a little soon to say happy 2024, but happy 2024. Over half of you joined me in the midst of this year, and so have picked up somewhere along 2023, and this truly was the year that everything changed. If you go back and look at January 2023, Anna, I was a 22-year-old social worker, less than 1 year out of grad school. I was working as a mental health specialist in a youth detention center. I had absolutely no idea what the year held for me. I didn't even know if I'd be living in Atlanta at the end of 2023. I was living in an apartment that I didn't really love. I was struggling to get up and go to work each day. There were some really hard things at work. My only form of wiggling my body in a fitness way that I did was weightlifting, and I felt such in a rut and felt like I wasn't getting anywhere and I didn't enjoy it. Everything has changed. This year definitely had some highs and some lows, some peaches and some pits, some roses and some thorns, if you will. I definitely learned a lot of lessons this year, probably a lot of which I don't know yet. They'll come to me later. If you would have told January me that I would be sitting where I currently am, doing what I'm currently doing, feeling the ways I'm currently feeling, I probably wouldn't have believed you, but I would have been so thrilled. This year was not necessarily easy to go through, but I'm so thankful that everything went the way that it did. 2023, Anna, these questions are for you. Hi, 2022, Anna. What job do you have? Do you enjoy going in? I'm currently a pediatric cardiac social worker working in a children's hospital. My work is all inpatient between an ICU and a step-down unit, and I never thought that I would see myself here, but I do really enjoy going in. I enjoy going out at the end of the day too. This job has perks that your last job definitely did not have. I leave work at work. I have a stable schedule. My routine matches the rest of the world a little bit more. I make more. The income is thicker than it was before, and there's a whole social work department that is so super supportive and makes the environment so much healthier, infinitely more healthier than the workplace that you are in. Right now, we are kind of struggling with knowing what to do and knowing what I want to do and making a balanced choice or lack of choice of what's worth putting up with at a job and what's not, and what salary we want and what's not, and what's the end goal and how is it smart to get there with the job. We're kind of stressing about the career just a little bit. So I know that right now you feel that you need to be doing something different. And February is the month that you went to a job fair just for practice. You didn't think you wanted to work there. You just wanted to practice some interview skills, increase the confidence, go out of the comfort zone. I'm nervous. I feel like it went really well, but I guess this could be a monumental video. And at that job fair, you met your now current manager. You quit your job on March 3rd. I am quitting my job. It is my last day of work in jail without anything actually lined up, no job offer, only 1 out of 3 interviews done, but you had to be out. And your last day of work was March 23rd, followed by 6 weeks of unemployment. She was like, I'm so thrilled to let you know that they want to give you the job. I've been offered a position as a medical social worker. As of today, I am a medical social worker working with children. I am now about 7.5 months at my current job, and it takes up so much less of myself, my emotional being, than the one that I started this year in. It felt dramatic whenever I said it around the times that I was quitting, but it took me quitting and being out of the toxic work environment, really hard setting in ways that things should not be hard ever in a workplace. It took me being out of that to realize the parts of myself that I lost to that, and I'm really glad to have them back. Are you doing okay as far as the job goes? We're doing okay as far as the job goes. Are you still living in Atlanta? We are still living in Atlanta. Because at this point, I have no idea if you will be or not. So for anyone who may not know, because I mentioned it here and there, and mostly more so whenever it was happening and was up in the air, the reason that I did not know in January of last year where I would be by June is because of my boyfriend Zach's post-grad plans. Zach and I have been dating for 7.5 years, since we were 16, grown up together. We're long distance through college, closed the distance in 2021 whenever I graduated. And wherever he goes, I will go to. Wherever I go, he will go to. He had been planning on medical school start this past fall, and decisions were still coming out at the beginning of this year, and so there was a chance that we could have heard something in March. It ended up moving somewhere by June or July, just a few months down the road. So that's why I had no idea where we were going to end up. Plans changed, Zach's plans changed, and that's why I pursued getting my next job, current job, in Atlanta too. And we will be here for the foreseeable future. I'm super curious about your new apartment. Our current apartment we moved into on June 20th of this year. It is a 703 square foot, 1 bed, 1 bath apartment. You still have a loft, you still have a spiral staircase, but this is mine and Zach's first apartment ever together just by ourselves. And so we got to decorate, we got to invest in a couch. We get to do just like life together. Our bed is up in the loft, which is so fun. Like I start my day each morning by walking down a little spiral staircase. It's awesome. We have an extra room that I like to call the study, just because that feels fancy and fun. You have a place that feels like home, feels like your own, which was not true at the beginning of this year. Do you still prioritize making YouTube videos? If not, I'm a little disappointed in you and I don't know what would have happened to make that occur. We did not miss any single upload this year, with the exception of, I think in the beginning of January, there was a Sunday that did not have a post. That's okay. We'll forget about that one. Documenting my life on YouTube became so valuable this year as we were going through everything. I remember feeling like I was jumping out of my comfort zone back at the end of last year, beginning of this year, talking about the post-grad crisis that I felt like I was going through and the job search process. I felt so out of my comfort zone talking about it in real time because I felt like I liked to share things once they were all wrapped up with a pretty little bow and I had a finale, I had an ending, and that just like wasn't how this year played out. So I feel like this year on YouTube has caught some very vulnerable moments of me, but also has caught some very valuable moments of this life that we're living together. The support that I feel from strangers on the internet who don't feel like strangers is incredible. And it's so wild to me every single day, the fact that, like, as I said in last year's video, I'm currently sitting in my living room talking to a camera, home alone. There's no one here. I'm just chatting to an inanimate object, but in the future, this video will be edited and exported and uploaded and posted, and there will be people all over the world that receive this video with their eyes, their ears, and maybe a little bit of their hearts. And that is just something so special to me that I'm just so glad to have an avenue to be able to connect with people like this. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I remember whenever I was going through my social work student journey, my journey as a social work student, and thinking about what life could look like in the future, thinking about even what grad school could look like in the future, I searched for social work creators, and there just wasn't that many at the time. So not only am I so thankful that I get to have videos to show a real experience, I mean, from undergrad all the way through an MSW program, all the way first year post-grad into a more like stable career type job. Like, I've grown up and it's been able to be watched. So not only does that feel so special to me, but also the fact that in this time I've been seeing more and more social worker creators existing, both on YouTube and especially on TikTok. So while I loved like trailblazing a little bit, I love not being the only one too. All of that to say, yes, we are still making YouTube videos. You have about 2.7 thousand subscribers. 2,700. Just about. Just under. Oh girl. You have 6,800. 6,900. Just under YouTube subscribers right now. Wow, watch that settle in. Just did my emotional talk about YouTube, and we can make our own town and it would be a city. I don't have to be mayor. We can have a democratic election. It just feels so special in my heart that 6,900 people want to watch these goofy little videos that I make in my free time. I guess all that I can say is that I'm so thankful for every single one of you 6,900 out there. There are people whose names and faces I know from the comments that you leave and the interactions that you give all over social media that I'm so thankful for and brighten my day. And then I also know that there are some of you that watch these videos and have never commented, and that's okay. I'm such a silent watcher on so many other people's channels too. But just know that, like, even if you don't comment, I'm still thinking about you and still so grateful for you. And oh my gosh, I feel like I just got hit by a train. I had this whole video going on. I just got boom. Woo! Let's get back to the question. How's the BookTube channel? Did it fizzle, burn up, and dry out? I'm not kept up with the BookTube channel. I think the BookTube channel was an outcome of my post-grad crisis. It is hard to keep up with one YouTube channel while working a full-time job, much less two of them. I also think I've become more comfortable posting the reading videos that I do like to film just like on this channel, even if they don't get views here. Well, I appreciate every single one of you who watches the channel, but just like as a whole, that's less of what people come to this channel for. But since it is a hobby of mine, and since I like posting the things that I just like to do, I've become more comfortable posting book videos on this channel, hence the videos coming around this one that are related to books. So no, no more BookTube channel, but that's okay. How many books did you read in 2023? A lot of books in 2023, probably because I was mentally ill. Not to brag too much, but in 2022, I read 79. So currently, I have read 120 books in 2023, and it's not yet the end of the year when I'm filming this, so I still have time to make that number be even higher. I had the goal of 100 this year, which I thought was like very just like out of left field. Why would I read 100 books in a year? I had a lot going on. I needed some escapism. What is something that you're most proud of this year? Not to be cheesy, I'm really proud of the person that I was this year. Still am this year. I'm really hoping that 2023 can be a year that I'm proud of, and I don't know what that means as far as the goals go. Like, I'm pretty open with what I'm going to be proud of, but I just hope that it's one that I can be proud of. I wouldn't say there's like one shining star moment that's like, oh, that thing made me so proud. It's more like, I'm just so proud of the person that I became to do the things that I did this year. For instance, we've already talked about it. Quitting the job with no other job lined up could have been the dumbest decision of my life. It wasn't. Everything ended up fine. But it did take confidence, and it did take prioritizing myself to do that. Starting running this year, that sucked. Did not love that in the beginning, but it took pushing myself out of my comfort zone to a new level. It took me to have the ability to do something that I'm not good at. It took me having the realization of you've got to change some things up. It took me having crazy idea to run a half marathon, and then actually pursuing the dedication that it took for my body to be able to adapt and do something as wild as that, to the point that I ran a half marathon. Crazy proud of myself for that, but I'm more proud of the person that I was to get to the point to where I could run the half marathon, and I'm training for another one now. And running started as this thing that I always told myself, no, you can't do that, you're not good at that, to like, oh, I just ran a 15K the other day and it was no big deal. That's wild. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, I feel like in so many different ways this year. I started regularly going to more social things around the city, trying to meet new people, trying to prioritize relationships in kind of a different way. I got out of the house more than I did the year before. I've been going to run club regularly. I've been trying out new book clubs, going to silent book clubs still. Did a lot of like random meetups around the city, just like getting to know people. I feel like this year I did what I had to do to love myself, and that's not something that I would have always been able to say for every single year. Heck, I tried going to therapy this year. I was out of my comfort zone. Not going anymore, but I did for a little bit. 2023 is a year you can be proud of. Were there struggles this year? I feel like the biggest struggles this year, I'm about to be real. I just joked about therapy, but we're about to be real. The biggest struggles this year, a lot were mental health, and a lot made sense situationally. And then also I had to learn that sometimes my mental health can't always be explained situationally, and that is something that I need to be okay with too. I spent a lot of this year depressed. Not all of this year, just some months of this year. And a struggle that I have of mine, beyond just feeling depressed, is feeling like I shouldn't feel depressed whenever I am. I know realistically there are going to be struggles in 2023, but I'm just hoping that there's not. Going to therapy helped me realize patterns in my life, and it validated for me some things that I was assuming about myself. Honestly, that validation for me is kind of just like what I needed. At this point, currently speaking, I am not going through a necessarily tough mental health period, but I know that there will be more in the future, and I'll just have to handle those as I handle them in whichever ways to help myself that means. I feel like I'm speaking like in code. For me, a diagnosis did not surprise me, and it did validate my experience a bit. And with that being said, also at the same time, I did not feel the need to necessarily seek further treatment options for a diagnosis when I am not functionally impaired in life at this current time. But that does not necessarily mean that that will remain true for the future, but that's just kind of what's going on now. So struggle, yes. Future struggle, probably. Knowledge and learning and growth and awareness and realizing things that I've probably known for a long time and just ignored. Yes, that too. Did you make any like fitness accomplishments that you're proud of? Anna, you ran a half marathon. I would have been so shocked if you told her that I was doing that this year. Like, it's not even something that I would have been like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. It was not even a consideration. So yeah, half marathon running, while that is a big fitness accomplishment, it was also a big accomplishment in the fact that I took something that I was like, no, I'll never do that. I'll never be good at that. And I did do that and did become good at that. I also feel like the constant noise in my head of, oh, you should be going to the gym, you should be working out, you're not doing enough, you're not strong enough, you need to be doing more. I feel like that noise turned down this year. Don't think that was like necessarily purposeful. I think it's like maybe my frontal lobe's developing or something. So I mean, that's an accomplishment too. Now this one, turn the little interrogation light right in your eye. What's your self-care and self-love doing right now? Not the interrogation light. For better or for worse, I think less about my self-love and self-care at this current point than I did at that point. And I think a lot of that is because routines that I've created for myself are self-care-y type routines that now are just more second nature. I think I listen to my body more just like intuitively now instead of telling myself I need to listen to my body, or I do things I enjoy now just because I enjoy them and I want to do them more so than me telling myself, okay, you need to sit down and do something that you enjoy now. So that is a good thing. The con of that is that I think less about the ways to improve self-care and self-lovey now than I did at the beginning of this year, but also partly that's okay because it's okay to be stagnant and not be constantly improving. I think I have spent a lot of this year improving a lot of different aspects of my life, and not every aspect always needs to be focused on. But that being said, as we've already talked about, a lot of this year was prioritizing myself and what I needed in my future. And so like self-care, self-lovey, yes, that did that. So I'm definitely not slacking on it. And at the same time, I probably in the new year will try to brainstorm and be mindful of ways that I could improve, because I'm sure that there are ways that I can improve. Not being a little stress anxiety ball. I don't think I've been a stress anxiety ball. Like, sure, I have my days and sure I have my chaos, but it's all fun chaos. It's all chaotic good. So I know we already talked about that. I don't know if you're in Atlanta or not, but have you been up and at 'em meeting people? Like, do you have maybe at least one new friend that you met in 2023? Yeah, so I have regularly gone to run club this year, did my book clubs like we've talked about. I would say that I have at least one new friend this year. And I think also alongside that, I have been putting more energy into relationships that I already had, even before the beginning of this year, but just that I hadn't been pouring into. So I am definitely doing better at that than I was last year, and that has really helped. Also, what's Zach up to? Zach currently is not with me, he's at home, but just for the holidays. He's coming back. Nothing's changed there. Zach is enjoying the work that he does at his lab. He's a research guy. He's a science guy. Don't want to speak for him. I think he's enjoying his life right now too. So what's so fun about this video is that I'm going to make one that looks just like it at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. Oh my gosh. That sounds terrifying right now. So from little 23-year-old Anna to little 24-year-old Anna. These are for you. What is making you excited right now? In a lesser extent than from beginning of this year to right now, I don't know what 2024 is gonna hold. What I do imagine is that there will be more stability in the like core main things of life. Like, I know I'm not moving out of state. I don't plan to leave this job. Right now, I don't have any huge plans on the horizon. No big trips planned, nothing. So a lot is staying the same, which makes me imagine that there has to be something else that's going on. How has your daily routine changed? A lot, I just imagine, is going to stay the same in this upcoming year. So what are the differences? Any new fun fitness accomplishment? We never saw this year's coming. What does next year hold for this little body of mine? What is something that happened this year that would shock current me? I want you to blow me away. Make my head explode. I just can't come up with anything that I think is gonna happen in 2024 that's going to surprise me. Again, I know a year is a long time. Like, that is a very bold statement for me to say, but I don't have any change planned, which is a weird feeling. How is the YouTube channel doing right now? As we're filming this right now, you have 6,900 beautiful, lovely, wonderful, love of your life subscribers. Does anyone watching this at the end of 2024 remember watching this at the end of 2023? Do you still live in the same apartment? If not, where are you at? And what's Zach up to? I know I just gave like a vague answer for this current year. If there's anything juicy at the end of next year, I'll tell you at the end of next year. I really could not end this video without reiterating such a strong sense of appreciation and thank you to literally any person who is watching this video or has ever watched any kind of video of mine. I feel like you're just a part of me now. You're just a part of my life now. To think that I am lucky enough to influence, bring enjoyment to, bring validation to, bring shared experience to any other single person in this world just blows me away and makes my heart grow 4 sizes. But to think that I get to do it through a channel that I'm passionate about, that I love editing videos for, I love being creative with. I know everyone says this, but I hope you know how real it feels, that I'm just like genuinely in awe that I have this opportunity to be welcomed into your life via video on youtube.com. I am so thankful for you for now and for always. What is something that happened in your year 2023, that would shock January you? I'm so curious. Leave it in the comments. I love you, and I'll see you next time.